When driving near a blind pedestrian who is carrying a white cane or using a guide dog, you should A. Slow down and be prepared to stop. B. Take the right of way. C. Proceed normally. D. Drive away quickly. A. Slow down and be prepared to stop. When driving near a blind pedestrian who is carrying a white cane or walking with a guide dog, you must slow down, yield the right of way, and then proceed with caution. Be prepared to stop your vehicle in order to prevent injury or danger to the pedestrian. Which of the following statements about blind spots is true? A. They are eliminated if you have one outside mirror on each side of the vehicle. B. Large trucks have bigger blind spots than most passenger vehicles. C. Blind spots can be checked by looking in your rearview mirrors. B. Large trucks have bigger blind spots than most passenger vehicles. Blind spots are areas that a driver cannot see if they look in their mirrors. Large trucks have large blind spots that drivers of other vehicles should avoid. While driving at night, a vehicle coming toward you has its high beams on, making it hard for you to see the road ahead. You should A. Look ahead toward the left edge of your lane. B. Look ahead toward the right edge of your lane. C. Look straight ahead in your lane. B. Look ahead toward the right edge of your lane. If an oncoming driver fails to dim their high beams, you should avoid looking directly at the headlights. Instead, look toward the right edge of your lane and watch the oncoming vehicle out of the corner of your eye. A steady yellow traffic signal light is a warning that the light is about to change to red. If you are already within the intersection when a green light changes to yellow, you should A. Stop. B. Continue moving and clear the intersection safely. C. Increase your speed so as not to cause an accident. B. Continue moving and clear the intersection safely. If you are already within an intersection when the traffic light turns yellow, you should clear the intersection as quickly as possible.
Want to ace your DMV test? Click on the link below and get your guaranteed cheat sheet.
Which lane must you be in before making a left turn from a one-way street? A. The lane nearest the left curb. B. The lane nearest the center of the street. C. The lane nearest the right curb. A. The lane nearest the left curb. When making any turn, turn from the lane closest to the direction you wish to travel into the first available legal lane. If you are making a left turn from a one-way street, this means that you would make the turn from the lane nearest to the left curb. A regulatory sign containing a red circle with a slash through the middle indicates A. That drivers should come to a complete stop. B. That an action is forbidden. C. That some drivers should yield to other drivers. D. That drivers should drive under the speed limit. B. That an action is forbidden. Some regulatory signs prohibit certain actions. These signs are rectangular and white with red and black markings. A red circle and slash on top of a black symbol indicates that the specified action is forbidden. At an intersection with a stop sign, you should stop in A. Check your rearview mirror for cars tailgating. B. Move when the vehicle ahead of you moves. C. Look right first, then left, then right again. D. Look left first, then right, then left again. D. Look left first, then right, then left again. When stopped at an intersection, you should first look to your left, as vehicles coming from the left are closer to you than vehicles coming from the right. Look to your right, then look to your left again, in case there are any vehicles coming from that direction that you did not see at first glance. This sign means A. No left turn can be made here. B. A left turn can be made only after stopping. C. All traffic must turn right at the next intersection. A. No left turn can be made here. Signs with a red circle and diagonal line over a black symbol indicate that the action represented by the symbol is prohibited. In this case, the sign indicates that left turns are prohibited. This sign means A. Yield sign ahead. B. Side road entering from left. C. Stop sign ahead. A. Yield sign ahead. This sign indicates that there is a yield sign ahead. You should begin to slow down when you see this warning sign. Certain highway signs require drivers to obey an indicated instruction. Such signs are known as A. Regulatory signs. B. Warning signs. C. Information signs. D. Guide signs. A. Regulatory signs. Regulatory signs require drivers to obey an indicated instruction. Failure to comply is subject to penalty. Drinking coffee after drinking alcohol. A. Decreases blood alcohol concentration. B. Cancels the effect of the alcohol. C. Has no effect on blood alcohol concentration. D. Increases blood alcohol concentration. C. Has no effect on blood alcohol concentration. Drinking coffee will not reduce your blood alcohol concentration, BAC. While it may help you to stay awake, it cannot change your BAC or make you sober. What is a no zone? A. A designated no passing zone. B. A one-way traffic area. C. The blind spot of a large vehicle. D. An area designated for motor vehicles. C. The blind spot of a large vehicle. No zones are the large blind spots around trucks and other large vehicles. Drivers of smaller vehicles should avoid lingering in no zones. If a child is about to run into the street, you should A. Start to prepare to slow down. B. Flash your headlights. C. Sound a sharp blast of your horn. C. Sound a sharp blast of your horn. If there is danger, you may need to sound a sharp blast on your horn. Do this when a child or any other pedestrian is about to enter into the street in front of your moving vehicle. You approach an emergency vehicle that is stopped with its lights flashing. You must A. Slow down. If possible, change lanes so you will not drive next to the stopped emergency vehicle. B. Drive to the right side of the road and stop. C. Stay in your lane and continue to drive at the same speed. D. Accelerate to quickly pass the stopped vehicle. A. Slow down. If possible, change lanes so you will not drive next to the stopped emergency vehicle. If you approach an emergency vehicle, tow truck, or roadside assistance vehicle that is stopped with its lights flashing, you must change lanes to allow the vehicle extra space. If there is only one lane moving in your direction, or if changing lanes would be unsafe, you must slow down to a speed below the posted speed limit and give the stationary vehicle as much room as possible. Always slow down and be prepared to stop when you approach an emergency scene. If you encounter an aggressive driver, you should A. Challenge them. B. Get out of their way. C. Speed up. B. Get out of their way. Drivers must respect and cooperate with all other road users and conform to specific rules in order to maintain order and to avoid crashes. When encountering an aggressive driver, it is safest to just get out of their way. Always avoid competing with other drivers. You are driving on a narrow road when you meet an oncoming vehicle. You must A. Pull completely off the road and stop. B. Allow the oncoming vehicle at least one half of the main traveled portion of the road. C. Demand the other vehicle pull over to make room. D. Turn on your high beam headlights to make sure the other vehicle sees you. B. Allow the oncoming vehicle at least one half of the main traveled portion of the road. On narrow roads, you must allow vehicles traveling in the opposite direction at least one half of the main traveled portion of the road. Both vehicles must have adequate space in order for the drivers to safely pass one another. When encountering an aggressive driver, you should A. Avoid eye contact, slow down, and let them pass. B. Cut them off to slow them down. C. Retaliate by tailgating them. D. Make sure they know you disapprove of their behavior. A. Avoid eye contact, slow down, and let them pass. If another driver is threatening you or intentionally driving dangerously around you, remain calm and try to put as much distance between the two of you as possible. Slow down and let them pass. Do not make eye contact and do not make obscene gestures. This sign means A. Slippery when wet. B. Tow away zone. C. Steep downgrade. D. Roadwork ahead. A. Slippery when wet. Warning signs prepare drivers for upcoming road conditions and hazards and are usually yellow with black markings. This sign tells drivers to be cautious when driving under conditions that may cause the roadway to become wet and slippery. What is the maximum speed limit in outlying parts of cities and villages with no posted speed limit? A. 25 miles per hour. B. 35 miles per hour. C. 45 miles per hour. D. None of the above. B. 35 miles per hour. Unless otherwise posted, the maximum speed limit in outlying parts of cities and villages, as well as in semi-urban districts outside of cities and villages, is 35 miles per hour. The act of turning your head and checking your blind spot before changing lanes, driving away from a curb, or merging your vehicle into traffic is A. A bad driving habit. B. A good driving habit. C. Unnecessary. D. Not necessary if you use the rearview mirror. B. A good driving habit. When changing lanes, it is important to check your blind spots. Do this by looking over your shoulder toward the next lane. Do not rely only on your mirrors. This sign means A. No right turn. B. Stop sign ahead. C. Divided highway. A. No right turn. This sign indicates that turns in the direction of the arrow, in this case, to the right, are prohibited. How far ahead of an intended turn should you activate your turn signal? A. 25 feet. B. 50 feet. C. 75 feet. D. 100 feet. D. 100 feet. You should signal 100 feet before you intend to turn. However, you should be careful if there are other streets, driveways, or entrances between your current location and the location of the turn. Wait to activate your turn signal until there are no other possible turns between you and your desired turning location. What does an orange-colored sign indicate? A. The start of a no-passing zone. B. A railroad crossing is ahead. C. A school zone is ahead. D. The presence of construction work. D. The presence of construction work. Construction, maintenance, and emergency operations signs are generally orange with black symbols. When you see this road sign, you should A. Keep right. B. Keep left. C. Pass with caution. A. Keep right. Warning signs are usually yellow with black markings. This sign indicates that a divided highway is beginning and cars should keep to the right. What message will be found on a red octagon-shaped sign? A. Do not enter. B. One way. C. Stop. C. Stop. An octagonal, 8-sided, sign always means, stop. You must always come to a complete stop at this sign. To help others see you when daylight begins to fade, you should use your A. Parking lights. B. Low beam headlights. C. Emergency flashers. B. Low beam headlights. As daylight begins to fade, turn on your low beams to help others see you. Only use your high beam headlights in an open area where no other drivers are present. An approaching driver fails to dim their high beam headlights. Where should you look? A. At the wheels of the approaching vehicle. B. Toward the right side of the road. C. Toward the left side of the road. D. Straight down the middle of the road. B. Toward the right side of the road. If an approaching driver fails to dim their high beams, glance toward the right side of the road. This will keep you from being blinded by the other vehicle's headlights and will allow you to see enough of the road to stay on course until the other vehicle has passed. Streets and highways are most slippery. A. When it has been raining hard for several hours. B. When they are clean and dry. C. Just after it starts to rain. C. Just after it starts to rain. Driving during the first half hour of rainfall is dangerous because roadways become extremely slippery when the water mixes with oil and other chemicals on the road surfaces that have not yet washed away. Use extra caution when driving on slippery roads. The amount of space you need to cross traffic depends on the A. Road conditions, weather conditions, and oncoming traffic. B. Presence of a stop sign. C. Use of your turn signals. D. Cars behind you. A. Road conditions, weather conditions, and oncoming traffic. The amount of space you need to cross traffic depends on the road conditions, weather conditions, and oncoming traffic. Vehicles stopped behind a school bus with its red lights flashing must remain stopped until A. All students are off the bus. B. The stop arm is retracted. C. The stop arm is retracted and the bus resumes motion. C. The stop arm is retracted and the bus resumes motion. When a school bus is flashing its red lights and has its stop arm extended, motorists must come to a full stop until the lights are turned off, the stop arm is withdrawn, and the bus begins moving again. This sign means A. Yield the right of way. B. No passing zone. C. Reduction in lanes. A. Yield the right of way. A triangular red and white sign indicates that you must yield the right of way. As the percentage of alcohol, BAC, in your blood increases, you become A. More intoxicated. B. More sober. C. More coordinated. A. More intoxicated. Blood alcohol concentration, BAC, is a measure of the percentage of alcohol in a person's blood. The higher the BAC, the more impaired a person is. Which statement about speed is true? A. Driving too slowly on certain highways can be dangerous. B. Speeding can kill. C. Speeding is not dangerous if you are a skilled driver. D. Both driving too slowly on certain highways can be dangerous and speeding can kill. D. Both driving too slowly on certain highways can be dangerous and speeding can kill. As speed increases, the chance of a fatality increases. If you are moving faster than 80 miles per hour, you have almost no chance of living through a crash. Driving more slowly than other traffic can also be dangerous because other motorists may become impatient and make dangerous moves to pass you. If you find that the roadway ahead of you is flooded, you should A. Slam on the brakes. B. Not drive through the flooded area. Turn around and find another route. C. Drive only in the center of the roadway. B. Not drive through the flooded area. Turn around and find another route. Never attempt to drive on a flooded road. Even if the water looks shallow, it may hide many kinds of hazards. If you encounter a flooded area, turn around and seek another route to your destination. Driving more slowly than surrounding traffic is A. A good idea if the weather is bad. B. Appropriate if you don't know the speed limit. C. Often a hazard because other drivers may become frustrated and try to pass you. C. Often a hazard because other drivers may become frustrated and try to pass you. Driving more slowly than other traffic can be dangerous. Drivers behind you may become impatient and will be tempted to take dangerous risks to pass you. When you approach an octagonal sign, you must A. Slow. B. Stop. C. Turn. B. Stop. An octagonal, 8-sided, sign always means, stop. Come to a complete stop. Yield to traffic and pedestrians that have the right of way, and proceed when the way is clear. This sign means A. Lane ends. B. No right turn. C. Slippery when wet. D. Two-way traffic. A. Lane ends. Warning signs prepare drivers for upcoming road conditions and hazards and are usually yellow and black. This sign tells drivers that a lane is ending and that they should prepare to allow traffic to merge safely. Which statement is true? A. You should put on your cruise control near a railroad crossing to maintain a constant speed. B. You must stop at a railroad crossing when directed to do so by a flagger or stop sign. C. You have the right of way at a railroad crossing and do not need to stop. B. You must stop at a railroad crossing when directed to do so by a flagger or stop sign. You must stop at a railroad crossing when directed to do so by a flagger, stop sign, or warning signal. Use caution when driving near railroad tracks. Having a driver license is a right, not a privilege. B. Privilege, not a right. C. Requirement. B. Privilege, not a right. Holding a driver license is not a right. It is a privilege that must be earned and maintained. Emergency vehicles. A. Have the right of way when using sirens, horns, and/or flashing lights. B. May use a loudspeaker to give instructions. C. May follow each other. D. All of the above. D. All of the above. You must yield the right of way to police cars, fire engines, ambulances, or any other emergency vehicles using a siren or air horn and a red or blue flashing light. Follow any instructions given over the emergency vehicle's loudspeakers. Emergency vehicles often follow each other, so you should proceed only when you are certain the way is clear. When entering a highway from an entrance ramp, you should generally A. Enter above the speed of traffic to get ahead. B. Enter slowly to avoid other vehicles. C. Stop first, then slowly enter traffic. D. Accelerate to the speed of traffic. D. Accelerate to the speed of traffic. Entrance ramps for highways often have acceleration lanes. When merging with traffic from an acceleration lane, you should put your signal on, look for an opening in traffic, accelerate up to the speed of traffic, and merge into an opening in traffic. On slippery roads, you should A. Slow down. B. Drive more quickly. C. Drive the speed limit, with caution. D. Not drive more quickly than 20 miles per hour. A. Slow down. You should slow down at the first sign of rain, snow, or sleet, all of which can create slippery road conditions. When conditions on the road are less than ideal, safety may require that you drive more slowly than the posted speed limit. You are approaching a green traffic light and traffic is blocking the intersection. What is the best thing to do? A. Partially enter the intersection to establish your right of way. B. Don't enter the intersection until you can get completely across. C. Continue into the intersection and wait for traffic to clear. B. Don't enter the intersection until you can get completely across. Even if your light is green, you must not enter an intersection unless you can get completely through the intersection before the light turns red. If you block the intersection, you can be cited. If your car breaks down on a highway, you should A. Sit in your car and wait for help. B. Use your four-way flashers to warn other drivers. C. Sound your horn at passing motorists. D. Flash your headlights at oncoming traffic. B. Use your four-way flashers to warn other drivers. If your vehicle breaks down on the highway, you should signal before carefully exiting the roadway and turning on your hazard flashers. Get as far off the road as possible and park in a location where other drivers can easily see you. Lift your hood to let other drivers know your vehicle is disabled. When a school bus is picking up or dropping off children, you must A. Stop, regardless of your direction of travel. B. Stop if you are driving in the same direction. C. Slow down and be prepared to stop. A. Stop, regardless of your direction of travel. When approaching a school bus that is picking up or dropping off passengers, you must come to a complete stop before reaching the bus, regardless of your direction of travel. What is the purpose of rumble strips? A. They alert drivers to potential tire problems. B. They test a vehicle's shock absorbers. C. Through vibration and sound, they alert inattentive drivers to the fact that their vehicles have left the travel lane. C. Through vibration and sound, they alert inattentive drivers to the fact that their vehicles have left the travel lane. Rumble strips create noise and vibrations to warn drowsy or inattentive drivers that they are straying off of the road or are approaching a stop sign or signal. When passing another vehicle, it is safe to return to your lane if you A. Cannot see the vehicle directly to your right. B. See the vehicle's headlights in your rear-view mirror. C. Have passed the other vehicle's front bumper. B. See the vehicle's headlights in your rear-view mirror. Before returning to your original lane after passing, you must make sure you are not dangerously close to the vehicle you have just passed. When you can see both of the vehicle's headlights in your rearview mirror, you may have enough room to return to the lane. This sign means A. No U-turn. B. No turning. C. No left turn. A. No U-turn. This sign indicates that you may not make a U-turn. You cannot turn around to go in the opposite direction at an intersection where this sign is posted. Seat belts are required to be worn? A. Only by children younger than 16 years old. B. Only by the driver. C. By everyone in a vehicle. C. By everyone in a vehicle. Wisconsin law requires that the driver and all passengers wear seat belts while in a moving vehicle. Which is not a factor in determining the distance that it takes to stop your vehicle. A. Steering ability. B. Braking distance. C. Reaction distance. D. Perception time. A. Steering ability. The distance required to stop your vehicle depends on perception time, reaction distance, and braking distance. This changes with speed and road conditions.